This is Dal Houston, and I want to welcome you to my YouTube channel. My videos address how to change your circumstances in life, whether they be financial, personal, social, or just life in general. I know there are hundreds, if not thousands, of similar sites. With that said, for better or worse, I just see the world differently than others, and I can tell you without any hesitancy that you will find thoughts, strategies, and ideas here you won't find anywhere else. It is my sincere hope you will find the content interesting and enjoyable. Thank you. Hey guys, Dal here this morning. Hey, I'd planned to talk about one thing, and as I was putting on my pants, the TV was on, and there was something that changed my mind, and I thought, I'm going to use this right now. It's very timely, and it's a great examples of what I see in the world, of how we just aren't seeing the world clearly sometimes, okay? Now, with that said, I'm going to give you a quick warning and a disclaimer. It is political, but this isn't the political aspect of it, okay? I'm not saying you should vote this way, should vote that way. What I'm saying is this is just a perfect example of how we are missing the points. And I don't mean just political, but business-wise, personal, across the board. I do stuff, it may be a political thing, but how do I apply that to my life? How do I apply that to business, my social life, my emotional life, okay? And it's also one quick little deal is it's easy to see the faults in others. What we got to do is use that example and sear that into our brain and learn that and sear that into our brain for our personal stuff. Okay? Now, with that said, what it was this is the week after Donald Trump's Tulsa rally. Okay? And they were talking about testing. As you may know, his rally didn't probably go great, and he talked about that he is trying to slow the testing down. And he was justifying it this morning. Said we've done more testing than any other nation. And, you know, we ought to be proud and everything else. And here's the thing. It's not a competition, okay? It's not a competition. It is about solving our problem, especially here in the United States. Nothing against other countries, but obviously it's our government. It's about solving a problem. It's not a competition. And yet, think about this. And so many times we look at our own lives and we say, well, you know, I'm doing this, and I'm doing it a lot more than this other guy. Well, you know what? If you're still not getting where you want to be, it doesn't matter. It is not a competition. It is about you and what you've got and what your problems are and solving your problems. So again, it doesn't matter, rightfully or wrongfully, whether we've tested more than any other nation in the world. The point of the matter is the virus is on the upswing. If you take that as truth, and I do, and then the question is, what in the hell do we do about it? It doesn't matter if we're doing more tests than any other nation. If more tests need to be done, more tests need to be done. In a story, shortly before that, they had a clip on again about the Tulsa rally and how President Trump had called it the Kung Fu flu, or something like that, and how that was perceived as racist. Now, I'm not getting into whether it was or not. It would appear to be, but that's not the point of my deal. And they were justifying, well, we think people need to know where it came from and this and that. No, it doesn't. That's getting back to whose fault is it? We see it in corporate business all the day. Oh, well, it wasn't my fault. It was his fault. It was their fault. It's the weather's fault. Listen, It doesn't matter whose fault it was. What we are there to do is solve our problems, and it doesn't matter. Now this is on a macro scale, like across the country. But if you're in a job and something went wrong, and it was your coworker's fault, it was your boss's fault, it was a competitor's fault. In the end, it really doesn't matter. It's what are you going to do about it? What do we do to address the facts that are right there? Yeah, it may be nice to know, hey, it was their fault, so that we don't do business with them some more. Or maybe someone's head needs to truly roll. I don't know. But in your life itself, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if I had a bad girlfriend and she screwed me over, and that's why I'm now drinking, or I'm depressed, or I mope for myself. It doesn't matter that was her fault. What am I going to do about it? Does that make sense? And I see that in business. I see that with people I do business with. I see it on a personal level. Oh, well, I can't do this because they started it. Bullshit. The question is, are you going to let someone else dictate to your life what you do? No, you've got problems, and it doesn't matter who created that problem, whether it was you, somebody else, or just factors out of your control. What are you going to do about it? It is that simple. So what we've got to do now is what I do. I do this every day. I do it multiple times a day. Is I look for examples of good reasoning and bad reasoning, good problem solving and bad problem solving. If it's an example of good problem solving, I remember that. Hey, that guy solved a problem. That was good how he did that. Okay. If it's bad problem solving, I say, whoa, I shouldn't do that. Now, what do you do with it? You may say, oh, I completely agree with you, Dal. President Trump was out of line to say it. So what do you do with it? You don't just look at it in that political light and say, oh, well, there it is. You've got to extrapolate that down onto your own level, onto your own life, and say, now, I just don't need to see the problems of somebody else. I don't need to see the problems of my competitors and that they're blaming this or that they think it's a competition. I need to put that down into my level for me to learn a personal lesson from that in my life. Because I'll be honest, really about the only thing I can do to affect the virus is wear a mask or not go out, or to go out and not wear a mask, okay? If I do one, I'm going to have one consequence. If I'm going to have the other, I'm going to have the other consequence, okay? But it's so much bigger example than just the virus. Again, it can be who caused this problem at work, who caused this problem in your relationship. Did I cause it? Did my wife cause it? Did my kids cause it? Did my parents cause it? Did my friend down the street cause it? Did the guy that we met that I never said that sent a nasty comment cause it? Okay, what am I going to do about it? So look for these examples and sear them into your brain, good and bad. If it's a good example, sear that into your brain. Remember that. Say, wow, what problem solving that guy had, okay? Or if it's bad, you say, whoa, what bad problem solving he had. I don't want to be like that. I want to be like this. And just, I know I'm overusing this word seared into your brain, but you really do. It's just seared so that when you go through life, it's there. It's just there. You don't have to stop after you do it a while. You don't even have to stop and think about, well, that seems familiar. No, it is just there. You, whoa, and you go whichever way you need to go on it. So anyway, I know I'm probably offending some people on the political end, and again, it's not meant to, but it is such a wonderful example of problem solving and the appearance of problem solving. We get wrapped up in thinking, oh, the problem's being solved or something's being said and that takes care of it. No. Listen, the whole issue is right here. All we're doing is skirting around it. And that's not solving our problem. Guys, I hope you enjoy it. Talk to you later.